between the US, Israel, and Iran arise, we usually hear familiar terms like deterrence, military pressure, missiles, and nuclear risk. These are certainly important, but the whole picture cannot be understood through this language alone. In fact, to understand how Iran fights, and more importantly, how it endures, we need to delve a little deeper. We need to enter not just the battlefield, but also the realm of belief. Because this state is not merely an administrative structure. Its foundation is built upon a specific concept of Shia theology, martyrdom and holy resistance. War is not fought with weapons alone. War is fought with narratives, with beliefs, and with how people are persuaded. Following the attack during the holy month of Ramadan, in which Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was martyred, the scene that unfolded across the country is crucial to understand. There were continuous mourning ceremonies. Bombs were falling, yet the mourning did not cease. A large portion of those loyal to the Islamic Republic, especially members of the Basij force, still believe they are fighting for a divine system of governance. For this reason, they are prepared to sacrifice their lives if necessary. A misconception needs to be cleared up here. Many believe that the more external pressure applied, the weaker this state will become. But the reality can sometimes be the opposite. External blows can sometimes reawaken that old strength within this system, the very strength that has kept it alive for so long. A major source of this strength is a deep-seated memory from Shia history. That is the Battle of Karbala in 680 AD. In that battle, Imam Hussain, A.S., the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, stood against injustice and was martyred. This event is not just history, it is a symbol. It represents the struggle of justice against injustice, standing for truth amidst suffering, and sacrificing one's life when necessary. This is why martyrdom is so important in the politics of the Islamic Republic. They aim to portray themselves as a state that stands for justice, a state that fights against imperialism, humiliation, and foreign aggression. So where does the problem lie? The problem is this. When you attack a state that places such immense value on self-sacrifice, that very attack can paradoxically become its source of strength. What appears from the outside as destruction is framed internally as sacrifice, resilience, and proof of faith. Even death itself becomes a form of political power in this context. In this current moment, Iran's strategy is largely one of endurance, fighting a protracted war and exhausting the enemy. This relies on the belief that Washington and its allies will run out of patience first. Another factor at play here is nationalism. Many Iranians do not approve of the Islamic Republic. However, when faced with foreign attacks, they too become incensed. At that point, the situation is no longer just about the government versus the people. It transforms into the nation versus an external power. And this is a dynamic that the state is exceptionally skilled at exploiting. In times of peace, this government's weaknesses become apparent. Corruption, repression, economic problems come to the fore. But when war begins, the picture changes. Then they project a different image. They present themselves not as oppressors, but as defenders of the nation. Of course, not everyone believes this narrative. There is dissent within Iran, and support is waning. But for a political idea to endure, it doesn't require universal belief. It requires a number of believers, some institutions, a measure of fear, and an ongoing conflict. This is why the current war is dangerous, not only from a military standpoint, but also from moral and political ones. If the US and Israel believe that by applying excessive force they can dismantle the Islamic Republic, they may be miscalculating. The religious aspect is important here. It's not that this war is solely being fought for religion. But religion provides a language through which suffering can be given political meaning. Source: Al Jazeera.